Good evening, ma'am. So happy to see you. Such a beautiful face with a long hair. Actually, we were eagerly waiting for you. Ravi sir had given you such a briefing about you, an excellent briefing. So I was eagerly waiting to see your face. Very happy. We are the four authors of the book on organizational behavior. The book is mainly intended for postgraduate students of commerce and management. It is a multidisciplinary subject what we are covering, since organizational behavior is there in the academic curriculum of both commerce and management. The entire we have covered. Actually, Damodaran sir was the one who set the syllabus. He had covered almost all the syllabus of the universities on OB, and we have structured it into 6 different modules. Like each module deals with one each topic. So you have right from introduction of OB, you have organizational culture, group behavior, leadership, almost all the topics what are there in the syllabus, we have covered it. Now, each chapter, each module comes with self-assessment questions. We have caselets which are included. And the most innovative feature on our book is the live interviews, what we are doing, which will be aired on YouTube. So Ravi sir is in the process of creating a channel where whatever interviews we have done till now will be uploaded for the benefit of the students. Because the students usually, when they cover the book, when they study the book, they have only an academic perspective. So we want to give them an industry view also. So that's why these live interviews and reference link of that will be given under each respective module. So that's all for the book, what I can tell you, sir.
That's
have
wonderful.
Have I covered all the aspects, sir? Damodaran, sir?
You did very well.
You're covered. I'm a chemical engineer by education. So I did my chemical engineering at Coimbatore Institute of Technology. And from there, I went to the US to do my master's in chemical engineering. And then as a young girl, I had dreams of being in the polymer industry, pharmaceutical industry, and all of that. But as life takes a U-turn, I was married to a person who was throughout in automotive industry, and he came from Detroit. So the options I had was to go back to college again after my master's and do an environmental engineering, and then I joined an auto OEM there in Detroit as an environmental engineer. And from there, when that auto OEM came to India, I came as the head of, not the head, I came as a quality person taking care of those products here. And then from there, I became the head of quality. Then I became the head of one of the body shops, is something that we call, which is a production line. So I was heading that. Then I moved to UK, where I was taking care of manufacturing engineering for the same company, but in stamping, running a part of the stamping plant. So I was there. Then from that auto EM, I decided we wanted to come back to India. Auto component manufacturer, I worked with them in first in TQM, and from TQM I took care of purchasing, and from purchasing I headed 2 plants, and then I finally became the president in 2013. So from 2013 to now, I'm the president.
So Gauri, you worked in the US. You worked in this a multinational in India, US company in India, and you went on to work in England, and now you are working in an Indian organization, typically an Indian organization. So you have seen a variety of cultures. Can you tell something about these 4 dimensions, 4 different cultures that you have dealt with?
The first one in the US, it is I won't say, it's very process driven, very process driven. There's a lot of systems in place, and you're expected to follow the procedure, and you will normally find people just follow the procedure. But when you come to India, it's a little different. Procedures are there, but every person is very, very creative in this country. So they tend to create a lot of things. And sometimes the knockoff effects of any new decision that gets taken is not fully considered. But I wouldn't say that that is a bad thing, because a country like India requires innovative, very quick decisions, and decisions which are important to make a quick move and not wait the long processed methods to get like in other countries. So it is like little not very structured, but you will find the most innovative solutions coming out of this place, which is more cost effective. So I found some very good innovative solutions coming from here.
And we are talking about the same company in the US as well as India.
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yes.
Yes. Whereas when I went to UK, it was a mixture of both. There, I could see a complete. There were systems which were there, which was being adhered to, but there was also a lot of personal touch also, which was there. And many times I felt, why does India do this? Oh, it came from UK. So you could see a lot of similarities between the way we did things in India to the way it's done in UK. So UK is more personal oriented plus
Really?
process driven. Here we tend in India to be more person oriented here. US on the other hand is very very structured and very process driven. So in India, I mean in the US, I could see a complete stark difference in the way people are. You found some very clever, intelligent people who came up with brilliant solutions. Whereas in India, you find an average person itself, you don't see the stark differences of some people who will only follow processes and they won't innovate anything at all. You will find that. And then you'll find this completely smart people coming out because the system or the processes enable their smartness to be successful. Whereas here, there are so many hurdles that you would see that everybody is an average pretty good. Am I communicating what I mean? If you have any doubts, please do ask, because I feel that I'm probably too broad in what I'm saying. So if you want some, I'll give you an example. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the US, if I gave a task to somebody, they would go try the task. So for example, I say, can you please get this done from this department? Then he or she will say, yeah, I will go and do it. They will do it. They'll go do it the first time. And then it won't happen. Then I'll ask them, has this happened? And then they will come back and say, no, it's not happened because the person is busy with 2 other tasks. But next week, the person said he'll get it done. So then next week I go and the task doesn't happen. Then you would go and ask him, him or her, why did the task happen? Then the person would go in and they would come back and they would tell me that this particular task was not done because of these 4 reasons. And one of it, I think the person is overloaded. Can you talk to that person's boss so that his load can be brought down and this task can be given priority? So you will have a clarity of what needs to be done as a boss when you give a task like that. When you come to India, the first thing you get is, ma'am, I told him he's not doing that. He doesn't know how to do that. You know, so it will be more person dependent. The judgments are made more on personal, and connectivity of person is more important. The process would not have been the process, and the thought was, oh, why it didn't happen? What should we do to make sure it works? You know, the focus will be on the person here a lot more than there. So this is the negative. So let me talk about the positives of this different culture. When you go to the US and say, you know, this has to be done, the person will say, no, this cannot be done because the process doesn't allow us to do it. One straight answer, nothing will be done with. When you come to India and you say that, you know, can you do something? The process will not allow him to do it or her to do it, but they will do the extra step to go see what can be done, and they find the solution. So you'll be surprised, oh my God, this happened. So that's again a person dependency. It's very person dependent. So I'm just trying to say both sides of the coin, because everything has got its positives and negatives. So I just thought I should put things in perspective and not only in the negatives.
And England is a balance of both.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say it's a perfect balance of both, yeah, but it's better. It's better. It's just not only process driven. You will have people.
See, our understanding, you know, without any basis is, in the US, things are a lot more creative because people have lots of space to operate, and they are not hierarchical. They are not scared of their bosses. So the mind is a lot more free, as against in India. Is that wrong?
No, it is very right. It is very right. Because I said, when I said process driven, what happens is in the US, they've broken down a lot of the hierarchies. Because of the breaking down of the hierarchies, there's more openness. So if you say something is wrong, there are people willing to listen to you. Whereas in India, you would see that because of this person dependency, which I said, they'll be making judgments about you. It can be both up and down. It can be, so if the chemistry between two people works very well, then what happens in India, innovative things do happen. But if it doesn't, then you have the hierarchical, the fear. And we also come from this Raja kind of thought process in this country. And we are positioned in our mind with that.
The power distance is very huge.
The power, yes. The power distance is pretty high. And I remember somebody saying this. Me being a woman, I can probably say that to you. I heard someone say this, where they said, if you are a woman, normally people in India have this attitude that you wouldn't know much. So they treat you with that attitude. Then you cross that hump, okay, and then you become at the helm of everything. Then suddenly you become this Shakti. Overly adulate you and say you're overly good, so which is also not the right thing, you know. So you don't need this up or you don't need this down, you know. So sometimes people fall at feet. I mean, sometimes people come and fall at my feet, and I'm like, why? I don't need you to do that. I'm just an employee, just like all of you. But my position gives an undue success associated with people's mind. I can give you an example for this. When I was in the US, I used to have my boss, who was an out-and-out technical person, because I started in R&D. So he was an out-and-out technical person. So he would say, it doesn't matter to me who's my boss, how old or young he is. I love what I'm doing. And I would not want to become a manager because I don't have the capability to become a manager. Whereas Okay, and I'll tell you why this difference exists between that country and here. I will tell you both. And in India, whereas everybody wants to become a manager, everybody wants to become a boss, whether they have the capability or they don't have the capability. And the reason for that is in the US or in UK. For example, in the UK, I was heading a team and I was hardly about 32, 33. And all the people who reported to me were above 55, 60. And all of them made more money than me. Allowed them to do what they like the best. So this system existed even in the US, where they have their own technical field that they're reporting to somebody who's younger, who'll be making much lesser than them, but they get paid for that expertise. But that kind of systems are not here. And here, only when you become a manager, you make more money. So obviously, everybody wants to make their money, and they all want to become managers when they may not have the capability to be one.
And they have no problem reporting to you, and you be responsible for their work also. They were okay with that.
They were perfectly okay with that. In fact, they would tell me, many of them, "Oh God, I don't want the stress you're going through." Okay. one of them would even actually came up to me and commented to me saying that, God, for the peanuts you get paid, you're taking on too much stress.
All right.
So, no, basically, that could be one of the reasons why the mental framework of people is different. Like you said, because of this power distance that you manage, the power is just not only in position, but also in wealth. So the difference between the rich and the poor in India is very large.
Very large. Correct. I got it.
So that large distances, that's the reason you see this power distance very much. And as we keep going closer, as we become a developed nation, I'm sure that would all change. Even today, many organizations in India are also thinking of having a separate trail for people with expertise, and they do get paid. And there are people who are slowly getting used to the fact that somebody reporting to me will make more money than me.
Okay. The power distance function of the money also, you're saying. But how is it in England? And subsequently, I will leave it to
England is also very similar to the US.
Okay.
Very similar to the US. The example I gave you of the person who was a 60-year-old and a 35 was only in England.
Okay.